Why can't have baby? Why can't get baby? Wish
Hey, I'm Daria. Welcome back to another sewing tutorial. Today I'm using my pattern million button dress for the bodice part, but I'll be showing a drafting process of the skirt, which is a skirt with godets. It creates a nice silhouette, snug at the hip line and flare at the bottom. This type of skirt was very popular in the past, but it looks very fresh and unusual nowadays again, isn't it? You can hack the pattern if you have one, or draft a skirt and use it alone, which I'm definitely going to try in future as well. So keep watching if you want to know how. For the dress, I'm using this cute floral fabric from Nico Fabrics, which my lovely Instagram friend Experimental Sewist gifted to me. Thank you so much, but first let's start with the pattern. I have printed out and assembled the million button dress pieces, and I will use only the bodice pieces as they originally are. To draft a matching skirt, I have to know the measurement of the waist on the bodice. To find it out, measure this both line, extracting the seam allowances and the back dart, or just use your waist measurement if you're drafting your skirt only. We have to use the hip circumference measurement as well. I will use my personal measurement, please use yours. Besides that, I suggest adding a 4 cm ease to the hip measurement. Unfortunately, it isn't possible to see anything on camera. Next time, I will use a bold marker instead of pencil. So I will try to recreate the draft on screen so you can follow along. So the first step is to draw a rectangle with the width equal to a half of hip measurement plus ease, and with a skirt length as the rectangle length. Make sure you step out 10 cm from the page edge. Don't draw this rectangle right from the page edge. Draw a hip line. Depending from the height and body type, high hips or low hips, it will be approximately 20 or 23 centimeters from the upper waistline. Now we should divide our skirt in the back and front part. To make it the way it matches the bodice, I'm measuring the waistline including the dart on the back bodice piece, and will mark it from the left on my rectangle's waistline. The same way I'm measuring the waistline on the front bodice, but as there isn't any dart here, I want to add it on the skirt base anyway, so I'm just adding additional 2 cm for a front waist dart. You can add a 3 cm waist dart if you have a more curved tummy. This measurement I will mark from the right on my rectangle's waistline. Divide the distance between these two marks, and this is the point where we can divide the whole skirt in the front and the back proportionally to the bodice pattern. If you are drafting the skirt pattern independently from the bodice, just divide the half of your hip measurement in two and add 1 cm. Draw this line from the right line, and it will be your front piece and the back piece respectively. So the right side is the front piece and the left side is the back piece. Divide these pieces in half each and draw the lines along the whole skirt length. Join the waist points with the hip line with a nice curved line. Use any tool if you want. I have some tools too. It definitely gives a more precise result, but I enjoy making it by hand. It gives me a feeling like I'm literally drawing my body on paper, and I love that part in pattern creation. Drop a waistline approximately 2 centimeters on the front. It's needed because usually our bodies are not so curvy on the front in comparison with the hip curve, so we should get rid of an extra length. Connect the rectangle's corner on the hip point with an imaginary line and divide it approximately in half. Continue dropping the waistline until that point and then join with the hip point. It's not like I usually do in classic skirt patterns, but it's because we have dots in unusual places this time, not like a classic skirt has. So the front dot is 2 centimeters wide. I'm just dividing the distance between the waist and the hip line in half and drawing the dot. The flatter your belly is, the longer dot you need. Make sure the dart sides are equal and join one of the ends with the hip line again. We are doing all the same for the back piece. My back dart point is 4 centimeters above the hip line, which is quite average, but I don't suggest making it lower than that. According to the bodice piece, the dart width is 4 centimeters. If you're drafting the skirt independently from the bodice, I suggest you stick to that width as well. The godet parts could start from any line below the hip line you like. I'm making it only 5 cm below the hip line this time. The more distant it is, the more dramatic silhouette the godets will create. So let's see what's happening on the bottom of the skirt. Each godet can be as wide as the designer envisions. I would like to create 10 cm wide godets, so I'm just measuring 10 cm from the bottom of each skirt piece and join it with the godets below the hip line for the square corner. And that's it. We should make the same with all the sides of all the skirt pieces, excluding the center front. Now we can clearly see how our flare piece will look. Don't forget to mark the curving lines. Okay, we're done with drafting, but how can I cut these pieces out? First of all, You can transfer piece one by one on the tracing paper. Secondly, you can cut exactly this page with zigzags. Just go with the scissors from the one piece to another, and the points left will show you the lines of both these pieces. You can put any paper under and get the piece back. Just connect the dots and you will see the original line. I will make this with all the pieces very quickly to make them more illustrative. So here are the pieces. I suggest checking if the godets' length are equal right now. Let's switch to the fabric. I love everything about it. Its color palette, its print, and how it's breathable. It's Godet according to the school book and the manufacturer. Thank you, kind people, for this amazing gift. So I'm just cutting out the bodice pieces and the skirt pieces. The skirt pieces I suggest laying head to tail. Don't forget to note the grain line, it's always very important. Some important information about the center front skirt piece if you are sewing the dress. We should cut the same extra space for a button closure as we have on the bodice. So right now the skirt construction doesn't have seam allowances, and this edge means the same as this inner line on the bodice. We should add an extra 5 centimeters to cut the center front skirt properly. Don't forget to mark notches on the hip line or on the godet line or both. One more thing that can be optional, but I'm going to make it. I will transfer the dart on the back bodice so that it matches the godet line on the skirt. Yes, it's a bit too close to the side, but I'm okay with that. That's happening because of my large waist and hip ratio. Maybe this won't happen to you. So I'm starting to prepare the pieces and interface the areas that need to be interfaced according to the pattern, and I have made the same on the skirt center front. The right piece will have the button loops, so it doesn't need the extra fabric, so I just cut 4 centimeters away, the same as we do with the bodice. So let's assemble the skirt pieces. Such a nice construction we have so far, and now we finish all the seams with an overlocker or a zigzag stitch, remembering that the pieces will have to be pressed towards the centers and the side seams towards the back. Meantime, I have been working on the bodice as well, but I won't show this process in this video. Please check out my detailed tutorial on the original million button dress pattern, where I show everything step by step. For the button loops, I'm going to use this ready-made button loop trim. Its quality is good, but the loops are too frequent in it, so I'm just going to trim off every other loop. I don't know if it's work with every loop, so please check beforehand if you want to make the same. Attach the trim with the loops towards the fabric. When you're attaching it, it's extremely important not to pull it. It causes wrinkles if you do. Put it freely or even try to ease the loops if it's possible. The second front side just falls at the bodice, and that's it. Before finishing the hem, make sure the edge is even and neat. I've decided to finish the edge with the roller hem. The first step to do is to fold a minimum amount of the fabric that is possible and stitch 1 mm along the fold. Now trim off the excess of the fabric. Fold the hem one more time and try to go in the same stitch you have done previously. Go slowly. Press, and here is the neatest skirt hem ever. Assemble the bodice with the skirt, matching all the seams, all the darts, center front folds, and button loop trims. The waist seam is pressed toward the bodice, and button loops are pressed so they are covered until the loops start. On the second side, everything meshed in the same manner. Make the top stitches on the both center sides. To make your own buttons, you can use a tab of sass for covering buttons. I need just a piece of an interface fabric and the parts which these sets include. I'm sure you can find different sets on the internet or even find some services which offer covering buttons and buckles for you. For example, the buckle for a belt I wear with this dress hasn't been covered by me. Put the loops on the second side and with a chalk mark points width sew the buttons on. Sewing on the buttons is the final step, and now you can enjoy your dress. Hope you like this drafting video. Hit subscribe for more sewing content. Thanks for watching.